I'm Lachlan and I play the Word Bearers. This is my Serrated Sons influence force from the 30k Heresy series book First Heretic, especially inspired by the Argyle Tal character that you can see here as my warlord as a young demon prince or possessed model. I first started collecting the Word Bearers about 2 years ago. I had just read First Heretic again, and after loving it, 5 or 6 years earlier, I was ready to try my own Chaos Force, and so I couldn't resist picking them. And so I thought I'd theme it after the First Heretic because it had so much flavour and fluff, and it's such a good book for anyone that's read it, and anyone who hasn't, highly recommend it. My style of play is to kind of play an all-rounded list. I've gone for as many demon-orientated units as possible. So we've got Possessed, we've got some more Possessed coming, we've got Obliterators who, needed some bigger bases personally, and some Forge Fiends, and some Warp Talons in the making. So I like to be able to throw as many demon CSM units in as possible. I think Argyle Tal is probably the favourite in the force. Being a character inspired model from a book and being able to bring what I thought he looked like to life was, that was really fun. That was the first major part of the force that I put some effort into, and probably the first model that I finished. And everything else was kind of inspired by him and the way that I went about him. He's a bit smaller than the average demon prince, but being one of the first possessed models, in the 30k lore, I think it was appropriate that he came first and leads the force, chosen of the gods, right? I also love my Lord Discordant. He's a new conversion, and you can see him on a battle report coming up soon. He was a great conversion, and the Leviathan and the Obliterators were really fun. I love a good possessed kit bash, and this force gives me the opportunity to put flesh on everything, so I'm looking forward to getting a chance to make more units so I can put more flesh on things. So my colour scheme is a bit of a complex one. Some might say unnecessarily complex, but I did a bit of testing and I quite like it. So I start off with a bone spray, and this is a bit unconventional, but I like my models, especially the darker ones, to end up a bit brighter. So I go with a bone spray, even though it's a bit more work. After the bone spray, I go for a Gal Vorbak red, and then Word Bearers red. And then I would do a watered down Flesh Tearers red contrast. This is to allow me to have a really deep and dark red color, but then also give it a heavier tone. I found just doing the red with the wash over the top, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't dark enough, it wasn't the right tone. So yeah, this is how I can get a really deep red. And I like to kind of give everything a silver trim because Word Bearers are generally red and silver, and everything else is just kind of custom. I like to make the force look a bit random and unique. So you'll see like all the cultists are different, all the CSM models are uniquely posed, so I'll color them as I see fit. There's also a common grey that comes in with the red, and the grey is a simple Mechanics standard grey washed over with Basilican grey contrast. The next expansions for this Word Bearers force, I've got some more CSM and some Warp Talons on the way. I've also got another bunch of Possessed to make and a second Rhino, so I'd like to have 2 Possessed and 2 Rhinos flying up the field. For any wannabe Word Bearers players out there, you absolutely need a Dark Apostle, a Master of Possession, and a Demon Prince. I think they are key to a Chaos Force in general, but especially Word Bearers. The support character buffs are quite significant for our force, and the Dark Apostle is so thematic that you really can't leave home without him. I struggle to write lists that don't have him in it, even when there are other characters that are better, because he is pure Word Bearers. Definitely want some cultists, some Possessed, and I highly recommend Demon Engines. The Demon and Possessed buffs that you can throw around in the force are just fantastic, and it's really the backbone of any strategy I think that you might run.